This is the third time or fourth time we visited Canada, Alberta and British Columbia. Um, this is Kootenay National Park, going through a pass on the way to Alberta. This is an overpass for wildlife, bears and antelope, deer, elk, but not for humans. And this is the freeway going right into Lake Louise. Can you believe it? There's Lake Louise um, above there, the glacier that feeds Lake Louise. And there we are, Takaka Falls. This is on the British Columbia side in Yoho National Park. Takaka Falls. Notice the white water. That side of the Continental Divide, it was white water. Maybe that's where it got its name. There's some of the scenes going to Takaka Falls. And the winding road. Jeremy loves these switchback roads. So this is topped it all. 10 miles an hour. The scenery was spectacular. The glaciers and the trees. Rocks and trees. Okay. And the highway going through. And then we went down to Emerald Lake. It was near Takaka Falls. Emerald Lake is named that because it's emerald. Turquoise? Is there a difference between turquoise and emerald? I don't know. It's one of the most beautiful lakes, and wealthy people have cabins and accommodations there. That time of the day is best to take pictures. Oh, here's a scene I want to paint. Right there. Beautiful. Emerald Lake from another direction. Here I am at Emerald Lake, Jeremy. We take about 3,000 pictures per trip, and very few of them make it. Joyce likes mostly with people in it. Here is the river running by natural bridge. Look how white it is. Here's Natural Bridge. See the rock, the formation? Jeremy was tired that day, so he didn't try to walk across, but he would have, I'm sure. But that's a natural bridge. And the water is just beautiful, white. And we are looking at the glaciers above. A lot more glaciers up far north. And the deer are running right beside the highway. It's a 4-lane highway going through Canada. 4-lane, it's number one, Canada number one. So the tourists and the big trucks don't get along too well. They honked at us. There was a car honked at us, wanting to get by. Here we are at Lake Louise. See the glacier there? It's cracked. We think it could be falling. There's a lodge we stayed at, a Mountaineer Lodge at Lake Louise. The next morning we drove on to Lake Moraine, but the scenery going up there is about 10 or 11 miles. There's Lake Moraine. Look how turquoise that water is. Silt coming off the mountains of the glaciers. The coloration, there's rangers will tell you what it is. Here, Jeremy and I in front of Lake Moraine. It was 40-something degrees that morning. Make Lake Moraine. Boaters dare not tip over, so water is freezing or near freezing. Here is the hump of boulders that Jeremy wanted to climb, and I didn't want to watch him do it. I thought it would be horrible. I see some people on top of it made it, but that was beside the point. I didn't want him going up there. So we took pictures of people going up. They had staircases going up. It was easier than I thought. Took a picture of this elderly man going up to show that I could do it too, but I asked how much did that guy weigh. And he took pictures of pikas or pikas. Pikas is what he calls it. and little ground squirrels or chipmunks. And it was red. Anyway, the pika, there's a pika. The ground squirrel was fighting with a bird, and the ground squirrel had a red hair, so I figured out why. Anyway, this is more of Lake Moraine. Jeremy likes it better than Lake Louise. Not so crowded and beautiful. Smaller lake. Glacier fed. See the glaciers coming. There's a good picture of a glacier. Jeremy zoomed in there. There's a trail below. You see it? Going to Lake Moraine. The boulders. More shots of the beautiful snow on top, and then the thick forest below. Lake Moraine. It's the most picturesque scene you can find anywhere in the world, I think. Jeremy got on top, there were seats, accommodations on top. It wasn't so bad after all. Here's that bird that got in a fight with a squirrel. Seems like everybody fights. And there's a squirrel. I don't know. I wish we had a video of them fighting, but we didn't. There's the squirrel. You see how the redhead? I think that's what did it. Bird's up in the tree there somewhere. Here are more pictures of the glacier from a distance. In Lake Louise, the big glacier there is cracking, and I didn't notice that in 2011. So people could Google and find out if something's going on there. I'm standing in front of Lake Louise. Boaters are out even in the late afternoon. Clouds were coming in. It's going to rain the next morning, or snow on top. Lake Louise, that's a good shot of it from that direction. That's the primary reason we came to Canada this year, was to see Lake Louise and all the sites attached to it. So many national parks are attached to Banff and Jasper. Yoho and Kootenay and Glacier, that's a Canadian Glacier National Park. And there are probably 6 others. I can't name them off the top of my head. This is the lodge, the Fairmont Lodge. I call it Lake Louise Lodge because Fairmont is a lodge name in Banff also. Must be the company. It's a Fairmont, but I call it the Lake Louise Lodge. Look out the window. Diners get the best view of the lake right there from the window. I bet the meals are $100 to $120. Anyway, it's a good place for a honeymoon or a special event. But I don't think it's a long stay motel. Hotel. Here's the backside of Lake Louise Lodge or Fairmont Hotel. And the grounds were beautiful. The landscaper must make a fortune, or should be making a fortune. It's beautiful landscaping. Is there a better picture than that right there? The Iceland poppies, that's what the yellow ones are. Iceland poppies. I don't know the other names. I'm sure they have them. Blue flowers that border it, frame it. Just could spend all day just walking the grounds of botanical gardens around the Fairmont Hotel, Lake Louise Lodge. Who wouldn't want to stay there? Notice the English and French, Lake Louise and Lac Louise. Everything has to be in English and French. It's law up there. And then we're driving away, Alberta, and the mountains, beautiful mountains. Um, the mist was coming off. The clouds were shrouding the mountains as we were driving by. Is that a scene? Well, yeah, it's hard to drive when the scenery is so pretty. And there's signs pointing to the mountains, uh, metric and meters, how tall they are. I'm not used to metric system. And here's a mountain coming. It's near Banff, Cascade Mountain, but it is again obscured by the clouds. You can't see it in full view, but it's a very unusual shaped mountain, Cascade Mountain. Here's another mountain as we're going out of Banff Park toward Calgary. And here we are at the U.S. border. Uh, the female border guard seemed like she liked Jeremy, so when she saw his passport,